Everyone, Deborah here. I have a video that I did a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, about how to dry up dough before kidding. And I got an email today from somebody that's trying to dry up a dough and she's not really drying up. And I said, if she's 3 months pregnant and she's not drying up, she might not actually be pregnant. So that is always something to think about. The vast majority of goats are going to just dry up on their own sometime between 2 to 3 months after you breed them. And so I am going to share my screen with you here to show you what we did. So last summer, last fall, what my husband did was he had these, he decided to start keeping records on these 6 does here. So we've got 4 does that were bred: Blanche, Sophie, Lady, Frances, and then 2 does that were not bred: Victoria and Ellie. Oh, hey, Rachel, welcome from northern Minnesota. And what happened was, so basically here at day 0, this is the day that they were bred. And this shows you this is where everybody's milk supply is. And then this is 25 days after breeding. This line is 50 days after breeding. This is 75 days after breeding. And this is 100 days after breeding. And you can see here that Blanche and Lady, both their milk supply had plummeted to about 75%. I'm sorry, less than 25% of what it was on the day that they were bred. So really just not worth even milking them anymore. Just stop milking. You don't even have to think about it at that point. They're producing so little. And here a little bit later, it's probably about 70 days here for Frances. And then out here, the one who lasted the longest was Sophie. Looks like she was doing really pretty good up until about 80 days after breeding. And at that point, she was way down here. Her production had decreased by over 75%. So you can see that drying them up was really not even a question. It's like, okay, their supply has decreased by more than 75% from what it was the day they were bred. Not even worth continuing to think about milking them anymore because they're just not producing that much milk. And just by comparison, in case you're thinking, well, it was fall though, maybe their supply was just decreasing. These other 2 goats here were not bred. So this blue line is Victoria, the green line is Ellie, and you can see their production here is just pretty much going along the way that it was over 100 days ago. Not really much of a drop here for them, whereas the 4 does that were bred did wind up with a big drop. And the reason that I'm sharing this is because a lot of people think drying up a goat is like a really big deal. I did do a video about a month ago. I did a live stream about how to do that. So you can find that in the archives from last month if you do have a goat that you need to dry up. But once you breed them, they do usually just dry up on their own 2 to 3 months after you bred them. My daughter, my youngest daughter, when she was still home, she was a teenager. We had so many conversations about, me telling her, hey, you should dry up this goat because she's 3 months pregnant. And my daughter would say, oh, no, she's not pregnant. Her milk supply is not going down at all. And I would insist oh, no, she's just a really good milker. You need to stop milking her because she's 3 months pregnant. And I really hate to say this, but my daughter was right 100% of the time. And I was wrong. In every case where that happened, 2 months later, there were no kids. The doe was clearly not pregnant. I'm not saying that this is always the case, but it was the case with us. So, once in a while, I do hear of somebody whose goat doesn't dry up, or a goat is still very hard to dry up. But if a goat does not want to dry up, it is certainly worth questioning whether she's actually pregnant. And if you are questioning that, at this point, what you could do is to do a pregnancy test, which the pregnancy tests that really work are blood and milk. So, I mean, the goat is in milk, right? So just, you can test the milk sample. I know Dairy One in New York does a pregnancy test on milk. When we were on milk tests, we used to just always add a note to our monthly milk tests, please check the following does milk for pregnancy. It was like an extra $5 in addition to our regular testing fee. That was like 8 or 9 years ago, though. So it's probably not $5 anymore, maybe a little bit more than that now. But that's a really good way to know. The other thing too, and it's too late for this year, but next year, if you just weigh your goats the day that you breed them, they should have gained weight by the time they are 3 months pregnant. So if, and we also we're keeping track of that this year as well. And that was how we figured out that one of our goats was not pregnant. So she was not in milk, but she also had not gained any weight 3 months after breeding, whereas the goats that were bred had gained weight 3 months after breeding. So that is another way. It's a free, cheap way to find out if your goats are pregnant. So I hope you have found this helpful. If you've got any questions, feel free to post in the comment section below and I will get back to you.